Good morning, class. Today we are going to study the contribution of Frederick Taylor in the development of HRM. Not in the term HRM itself, but in its development, how the HRM developed. Frederick Taylor was an American mechanical engineer known for his methods on improving industrial efficiency. And he was one of the first management consultants. He was the author of the book The Principles of Scientific Management, the reason why he was called the father of scientific management. There is a very well-done module about HRM on the website lumen.learning.com. In that module, Frederick Taylor was mentioned. He was mentioned in module number 2. And there is an excerpt from his book in that module from the book Scientific Management. And that's where we are going to start our study. So here's the excerpt. The search for better, for more competent men was never more vigorous than it is now. And more than ever before is the demand for competent men in excess of the supply. What we are looking for, however, is the ready-made competent man, the man whom someone else has trained. And so that approach seems to be, because you have or you want to have a mango tree, you're going to search for a matured mango tree that is already productive and with lots of fruits. And then you're going to transplant that matured productive tree into your yard. The problem in doing that way is that you have no assurance whether it survives or not. And so it's better to start in planting a mango seed. Start with seed. And soon you will have your own mango tree that is strong and productive. Likewise, when looking for good workers, there are not always good ones among those who apply. But the best option is just choose those with the best credentials. And even if they lack skills, that would be okay, because after hiring them, then take the time to train them to be good until they become great. I will now give you the 3 of the 4 management principles of Frederick Taylor and what HRM practices that have been formulated because of these principles. I'm not giving you the other one principle because I'm teaching that in the subject special topics in HRM. And these 3 principles, I have already revised the sentences to avoid plagiarism. So let's proceed to the number 1 principle. Number 1, utilize the scientific method to evaluate a job and determine the most effective way to complete it. Utilize a scientific method to evaluate a job and determine the most effective way to complete it. Because of this theory, there is a so-called job analysis, which is one of the two HRM practices under the pre-hiring stage of employment. This is to analyze the job position to determine the type of the job. The HR expert should be able to describe the job about how difficult or how dangerous, what machine will be used, which facilities, how will the worker do it, and what are the requirements to qualify the worker, etc., etc. And in this principle, all information extracted through job analysis will be strictly followed and be used as guidelines in the search and selection of workers. Another HRM practice that was formulated through this principle is called recruitment and selection. And this is an HRM practice under the hiring stage of employment, which will now lead us to the second principle. So here's the number 2 principle. Match the workers to the jobs based on their skills and passion, then lead them to perform at the highest efficiency. Match the workers to the jobs based on their skills and passion and lead them to perform at the highest efficiency. In recruitment and selection, even if the full-grown qualified worker cannot be found, no need to worry, because the closest to the job requirements is chosen. Because along with this principle, another HRM practice was formulated, and it is called T&D, or the training and development. This HRM practice is under the post-hiring stage of employment. This is necessary for the workers to become efficient and effective, which can contribute in the smooth running of the administration process, with a large profit being produced in the company. In T&D, the workers will be equipped and be molded so that they will become fit in the job description and job specification of their job position, so that they will become great workers that will result in them being happy in their work through their great accomplishments. Moving on to third principle, ensure that each task is completed using the best method by providing supervision. Ensure that each task is completed using the best method by providing supervision. In this principle, another practice or HRM practice was formed, and it is still under the post-hiring stage of employment. This is called performance management and appraisal. Performance management and appraisal. It focuses on monitoring the performance of workers. And what is often done in this practice is to constantly review the job description and the job specification of the workers and look for these things in their performance to assess them if they are on the right track. And so, therefore, having an evaluation of workers' performance is very important. The evaluation results can be used as basis for workers' performance improvement and as basis for HR decisions about increasing their benefits, providing specific trainings, shuffling the workers, or finding replacements. When making an appraisal method, it needs to be designed to suit the current workforce. Why? Because an effective method may not be effective in another company. Dr. Doris P. Lauron wrote something about Taylor in her book Human Resource Management Principles and Practices. Let me read an excerpt from that book. Frederick Taylor introduced people management through his book The Shop Management, which featured the proper selection and training of employees in a scientific way. Later, he pioneered the study of scientific management and eventually became known as the father of scientific management. His work played a very important role in the advancement of the people function in the early 1900s. He also addressed critical issues on incentives that encourage the compensation of workers for meeting and or surpassing performance criteria. So that was another HRM practice that was formulated through Frederick Taylor. And these events laid the basic foundation for later HRM development. And I remember something I have read that some called the theory of Frederick Taylor, they called it the classical management theory. So again, we're not saying that Taylor started HRM, but through his theories, many authors and business people formulated the principles of proper workforce management that later became known as HRM. We can say that Taylor has a huge contribution to HRM because of his theories that became strong foundations of HRM. So that is what Dr. Lauren meant when she said laid the basic foundation for HRM development. And so I will now cut the discussion here, and I encourage you to open your iConnect and take the quiz about what we have just studied. Enjoy, and once again, thank you for listening.